Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. So today I'm excited to actually go over something that I haven't actually had a chance to talk about, and I haven't seen any other YouTube channels, writer YouTube channels, go over this with authors, but I am doing a book signing with a good friend of mine on Friday. It's Monday. So Friday, November 7th, in Lebanon, Missouri at the Bookboro bookstore from 5 to 7 p.m. So in this video, I'm going to go over all of the prep and all of the things that you need in order to do a book signing, and yeah, all of the details that go into it and what to think about, what to consider, and whether you should or shouldn't. So let's get right into this. So for context, number one, I've done 2 book signings before. They were both done at Osage Beach, Missouri at this little book and toy store, and it's called Stonecrest Book and Toy, but it's mostly just books and board games. So I did 2 book signings there years apart, and the first time I was traditionally published, and so I just went up to them, asked if they do book signings for authors, and they said yes. And so because I was traditionally published, the trad publisher puts your books out in all of the stores, so the store was able to reach out to their wherever they get books from, and that person did have my books in stock, and so they were able to order them to the bookstore, who provided the table, set the books up, and we did the signing. That was for Hunter and Shifter, that was traditionally published. So after that, my second book signing was I think it was a couple of years later. I don't remember the second one all that well, to be honest, but I think it was the same situation. Since then, I'm self-published. So the trad publishing book signing, that's pretty simple. Like, the bookstore does everything for you. Your trad publishers kind of do things for you. So it's like you and the bookstore, and then your trad publishers should have already put your books in there, and so there's nothing you really have to do. This advice video is specifically for indie authors. So obviously the biggest thing for an indie author is our books are not able to usually be grabbed by the store, by retailers, at least from what I know. Now, you could ask and see, because like if you sell on Amazon with expanded distribution, there's a chance that you may be in some of those. If you do draft to digital, that may be a possibility too. If you're going to like Barnes & Noble and you use Barnes & Noble Press, you can probably set that up too, but for the sake of this video and my experience and the experience of my good friend H.A. Pruitt, who is doing the book signing with me, we have to bring our own books. So in this case, the one is closer to her, so she's the one who contacted the bookstore and set it up. As far as I know, there's not a fee. I will have to ask her to confirm or deny. Maybe she can in the comments. If you're watching this video, you can confirm for us if there was a fee or not. As far as I know, there's not. There wasn't in the past when I've done them. All you have to do is set it up with them, the time, and then bring your books and show up. So obviously you have to order your own books. So I ordered mine via Amazon, simply because on Amazon we can get ours at the author copy price, which essentially is just the cost to print. So the sale price, like what you're, as a reader, if you go on Amazon and look up my books like Hunter, Shifter, whatever, what you're seeing is the price of printing, and then I have to add additional things because the printing comes out of my cost. So if I want to make a profit, Amazon has to take their cut, so they have a minimum list price that they require, and then which is to cover their the printing cost and their half, and then if you want to make a profit, you have to make it even higher than that. So from your cut, I think it's 60-40, so they get 60, we get 40, I think, and so from your 40% that you get from the sale price, you pay for the printing cost. And so usually from paperbacks, I'm selling mine for like $20, and I get like maybe a couple bucks out of it because it costs so much money to print. So that's just how that works. So because of all of that, it's easier for us to just order author copies from Amazon using their self-publishing platform KDP at print cost, which for Immortal is like $10. For Survivors, like $10 because they're big. For the other books, it's usually between like $5 to $7. So I order them for $5 to $7 a piece, and I send them to myself. So I have to pay for shipping to myself. Now, for my sake, it was like, okay, the first thing you have to figure out is how many copies do you want to bring? So the first thing is it a single book that you have published, or is it a series? If it's a single book, grab as many copies as you think you'll want for your book. Be realistic about the numbers. Obviously, you don't want to order so many that you don't sell as much, and then you have all this stock for no reason. Now, if you want the stock for other places to sell it, that's fine. But try to keep it realistic according to what you think you would sell. In my case, I may sell 1 to 3. So 5 copies of a book seems like a sweet spot for me, just because then that gives me 2 extra just in case I have a couple more. Now, in my case, I have a series. So if you have a series, the next question you need to figure out is it like my friend H.A. Pruitt? Her series is a series that starts with book 1 and it goes to book 2, 3, 4 in chronological order. So obviously you're not going to come into a book signing never hearing her name or her book series and then order book 4. You're going to start at book 1 and then order chronologically. So you may decide to buy books 1 through 4 from her in one go, and that way you have the whole series, but you may just want to start with book 1, order it, and then see if you like it or not. Or buy 1 or 2, buy maybe the first 2 books, see if you like them, and then you can order book 3 and 4, whatever. So if you have a chronological series, that's, you're going to over focus on book 1, but offer a few copies of the other books just in case you have a few fans that may come in. In my case, my series is still labeled books 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the 2 prequels, Immortal and Immortal. But you can read them in any order because they're still written as standalones. Until you get to the last few books where all the heroes come together. It's like Marvel, where you may get Captain America's backstory in this book, you'll get Thor's in this one, you'll get Black Panther in that one, but they all come together in Avengers Endgame, so by that time you better at least know some of the backstories of the characters. That's my series. It's just mine's epic fantasy and not superheroes and not sci-fi. Just to quickly explain that. So if you want, you can jump in and Shifter, book 2, you could grab Assassin, book 4, you could grab Rogue, book 5, you could start with book 6, Survivor, which I just released, and so all of the people on Kickstarter started with Survivor, unless they ordered the whole series. So in my case, I should bring, like I said, 5 for me is the sweet spot, so my idea was to bring 5 copies of every book in my series, so that way people can jump in whenever they want, and I have at least 5 copies of each one. Which is actually going to add up quite a bit because I have Hunter through Survivor, so that's 6 books right there. And then I have 2 prequels, so Mortal and Immortal. And so by the time I ordered all of this, I'm not kidding, it was over $200, almost $300 to order them at print cost. That is the cheapest possible cost. It was like $27, like $23 for shipping. And then when I ordered them, this was still in the month of October. This was like the last few weeks of October. I ordered them and they were going to ship on November 8th to the 12th. My book signing is on the 7th. So my next issue was making sure that they came in on time. So that's my next tip for you. Once you know you have a single book, do you have a series? If you have a series, is it standalone or is it a chronological series? And then how many copies of each book or books do you want to bring? Once you've solved that problem and you go to order your book and you also know, okay, are you using Barnes & Noble Press? Are you using Draft to Digital? Are you using KDP? Are you using Ingram Spark? Like, what are you using to order your books? Once you've solved all of those, the next thing is to order them in time for your book signing. Do not wait till the last minute because honestly, these days shipping is so horrible. And in the case of Barnes & Noble Press and Amazon, those are the only 2 that I've ordered physical books from. So these are the only 2 I can speak for. I've never used Ingram Spark. I've never used Draft to Digital for print books, so I cannot speak to them. Also, Lulu is another one that I've used before. So those 3, they do not prioritize indie authors. Amazon and Barnes & Noble are super horrible at this. Amazon especially. I could go on there, and I actually did. There was a new book that came out that I really wanted to read that I saw at Walmart, didn't order it. I had to wait a couple days. And so I got on Amazon, I ordered it, and it was like 2 days away, and they were going to ship it to me like 2 or 3 days after I ordered it. Whereas I was weeks away from my book signing, and it was going to be the day after my book signing. So make sure that you order in time. Now, in my case, what I did was I kept pestering Amazon support until they were like, yes, we can increase the shipping. We can get it there faster. But it went from $23 to like $30 to $40 shipping. I don't know the exact amount, but all I know is it was like $280. It was $280 for my whole series. That included the shipping. And then all of a sudden it was $310. So you can do the math there of how much they added in shipping to get it there in a couple days time so that I actually had my book a couple days ago in time for the book signing. So that's the next thing. So your next thing that you want to ask yourself is, am I just selling books or do I want to add extra goodies? Now, there's a lot of options for goodies. You could do character art, you could do character stickers, you could do bookmarks, you could do pins, you could do book candles, just like in a package. You could do keychains, key ring. You could do any type of thing that goes along with books and readers, that things would readers like, you could do. Now, I wouldn't recommend some big like physical products like keychains, key rings, candles, not at a book signing thing. So typically what you're going to see is art, book art and bookmarks. So any type of like illustrations or character art, you could do postcards, you could do small little cutouts, you could do stickers, you could do book plates and book plate stickers, which is where, in of course a book signing, you're going to sign the books yourself, but you could also do a book plate of your signature. You could do bookmarks. That's another popular one of any size. So there's a lot of options for extras, is what I'm going to call them, if you want to, and that's the next step on extras. So there's a couple of other steps that in this case, in this book signing, I wanted to prepare for ahead of time, which is ebooks. What happens if you sell all of your physical books? What happens if you come across people who want to have either a cheaper option or they prefer ebooks over paperbacks? And that's what we're going to get into next. So this is for my book signing. So in my case, my extras that I decided are, I want bookmarks and illustration art, because I've hired 2 different illustrators. The first one was Lucas Santiago until he quit, I guess, being an artist. And the second one is moimoy.13.art on, or 13.art on Instagram. And so Lucas did the first ones for my first couple books, and then Moimoy has done the other ones, Survivor, Immortal. Is it just Survivor and Immortal so far? And I plan to have him do more in the future. So I have lots of art already made. If you're like H.A. Pruitt, she does her own art. She does character sketches, so she's done a bunch of sketches for the characters of Survivor for me. It would be nice if I had enough printer ink to just binge print tons of copies of all 12 that she did. 13 because she added an extra one for one of the other characters. However, because I was also sending out Kickstarter stuff at the same time as I'm planning for this book signing, it overlapped to where I only have so much money. I can't get to the store in the middle of the week anyway, and so I can't buy any more printer ink, so I have to go with what I have. I ran out in the middle of printing off. I finished the illustrations for the Kickstarter and I ran out of color ink, so I guessed use black to like make the other color. So far they came out okay, but in the middle of printing for this book signing, I'm worried I'm going to run out of color. So I want to get the illustrations printed first, because I think if all else fails, the bookmarks that I can go with are my new Valiant series bookmarks. I could have ordered them for Vistaprint or Got Print, but I don't have enough money for that. So to keep it budget friendly, if you have your own printer, you can just print it yourself and not have to worry about all of that, although keeping up with printer ink is the expensive part. So it kind of does offset, but if you don't have money, go with what you have. But anyways, my Valiant series bookmarks could work black and white, and so therefore I'm going to start with the illustrations, and then if I run out of printer ink, I can just use the rest of the ink to do the Valiant series bookmarks and do those. I do have extra stock left over from my last Kickstarter that I did before the Survivor one. So I do have, and I have old illustrations that I printed off and have kept safe since then, so I can go over my previous stock and do that. So those are the extras that I've chosen, and we will get to that in a minute. But the next thing that I wanted to talk about is ebooks. So first of all, I sell my ebooks and my paperbacks, but I'm talking about my ebooks on my website myself. That way the whole royalties go to me and I get paid instantly. With Amazon, KDP, all these other self-publishing platforms, you don't get paid till months later, and obviously they take a huge cut, and so sometimes it's hard to even track, okay, I got a sale today, and it's really difficult to track whether you got paid for that or not, because it's going to be months out. And so when you're getting paid, you're like, wait, what month was this from? What day was this from? And so usually you can't always associate, this sale came from this person and it's in my bank, but with your, with a direct like this, WordPress pays you instantly, and I'm like, okay, this person just paid me this amount of money, so this money came from this person and buying this particular book. Like, you can track things better. So I'm selling them from my website. So there's a couple of options here. The first thing that I thought of was a QR code, because the easiest thing to do is the same cards that I'm using for my illustrations are like postcards. You could print out like your name, your website, and then the QR code linking to your website or your store where you sell your books directly. You could hypothetically, if you don't have a website set up, you could just link to your author page on Amazon, your your book series page on Amazon, anywhere that they could buy it, and then you're still getting a sale even if you won't see the benefits of it till months later. So that's one option that I'm going to do. My editor and good friend who's doing the book signing with me for her books, she had the idea that she wants to set it up instantly. And in her case, she was going to take an email list, and then I guess when she gets home, you take payments via PayPal and or Venmo, and then when she gets home, she can send them the books. So I thought, okay, same thing. But I was like, I can take payments via PayPal and or Venmo. And what I did was I took all of my book PDFs and EPUB files, which are usually the ones that you're going to send out if you buy from me directly anyway. Like, that's what an author sends out. The EPUBs are usually what works on people's Kindles. PDFs I've heard have some trouble, but I haven't had any trouble. I send PDFs to myself all the time. Anyways, so hypothetically, if a person wants an ebook at the signing, they come to me, they pay me via PayPal or Venmo, the payment goes through, and because I uploaded all of my books, all of the Valiant series, even the short companions that only have an ebook form, that don't have a physical form, I did those too. I can literally access Google Drive on my phone, because I tested it, pull up an email, attach the book, and send it to them via their email instantly, right there at the book signing. It may hold up a line, but I doubt I'm going to get that many people where there's a line. So I thought that would be a really efficient way to do it as well. So I'm going to have both. That way I can be like, well, if you want to, you can scan the QR code here. It'll take you to my website and you can order the books there, and I will get them sent later on tonight when I get home. Or you can order from me directly right now. And if you pay me via Venmo and PayPal, then I can use my phone to send the books to your email right away in EPUB form and in PDF form. The EPUB is what should work on all of your Kindle devices, any device that you read on. And I said that out loud now just to practice. How'd I do? Let me know in the comments below. I'm a little bit introverted, so I'm very, very shy. I'm extroverted in the sense that I get energized once somebody talks to me first and kind of opens me up a little bit. Then I get attached to people and I have fun and I love talking and socializing. However, I don't like doing it first, and I certainly don't like a big crowd, and I don't like public speaking, and I don't like doing this. So in this case, I am actually very shy. Hey, Canva changed their whole thing. So fortunately, I thought ahead, and so I already designed kind of like a business card. And so I designed, so essentially this would be the front. It's got my name, my website, my logo, and it looks pretty, and my color scheme. That's the important thing. And then the back of it has same thing, my name, what I am, my tagline, my logo. It's got all of my links. It's got the QR code to my website, and it's got my bio on it. And so hypothetically, I should print one copy of this front and back, and have that sitting there, and then turn it over and be like, here's the QR code if you like to scan it, that sort of thing. That's what I'm thinking is going to be the first order of business that I print off, while I may have ink that still works enough to get all of this coming out clearly. So the situation with this is, I need somewhere to put this. I have no space. I have no space here. I don't know, I'm excited, so that's why I'm being weird. Anyways, so my experience with these, okay, so they are photo paper, and they're 4x6s, so they're the size of a postcard. So my experience with these was with my Kickstarter, where I found the glossy side and I printed the fronts only. So I know how to print the front, and then I think all I have to do is turn it over and it'll print on the back, I think. So we're going to try it, and hopefully I don't mess this up, because I had to use, because I had one pack, they're 2 packs of 50, and I didn't want to get into this pack, but I had a couple of mess ups on the Kickstarter, and so I had to open this pack and use a few, and so it's not 50 anymore, and I'm hoping I at least have 40, but I don't even know if I'll have enough ink. So it looks like this is the glossy side. So you take out all of your printer paper. I learned to do this. I have a Canon TS3772. So you take out all of the paper and then you put the glossy side forward. You make sure that your little thing is all the way across. Turn it on first of all. And so with mine, usually you can just print with Canva. Now my printer is finicky, so I have to use my Canon printer app here. It's called Canon Print. You can find it up for any computer because otherwise it comes out really messed up. So I'm going to do this, get off here real quick, and I will, yeah, so I'm going to do the front first and then I'll tell you guys if it works. So I will check in with you guys in just a second. Printing, and I'm very scared. I hope I didn't ruin this. Also, we are completely out of color. We have plenty of black, so I don't know how long black's gonna last, but that happened for the all 16 or all 15 of the final illustration, and they came out perfectly colored. So I don't know how this works, y'all. It's slow, but so far looking good. That's the thing I realized also with these photo cards is that they're very slow. So if I'm gonna end up printing all of these, it's gonna take all night, but that's okay. And so with bookmarks, what I do is differently. What I'll do is I'll create a Word document and I'll put multiple copies of the bookmark on there because I can usually fit like 4 across the top and then 2 across the bottom. So I can fit 6 bookmarks on one Microsoft Word page. And then I just use regular print paper. It'll have the 4 across the top and then the 2 on the bottom. And I have a laminator and I laminate them and then cut them out because it's usually good enough for bookmarks. And I mean, I've done that before and used it. So, all right, look at that. That looks good. Hopefully it's not reversed for you guys. So now here's the risky part. I'm going to put this part forward and then, okay, so if we want it, so I gotta face it backwards and I'm going to go to photo print and then do the back. This is the scary part. So this is where it's either going to come out good or I'm going to ruin the whole card. But also the back is the important bit. So hypothetically I could just use the back, but I kind of wanted it to be like legit and professional. So far it doesn't look like it cut into our black ink very much at all. I think the black ink had more in it, I want to say. Oh, I can't tell. I'm scared. I don't want to look at all, actually. Also, for reference, another aspect of this too, not only is the book signing that it happened and the prep for it happened at the same time I was trying to send off all the Kickstarter stuff, but I also had surgery on October 8th and it is November 3rd and I'm not supposed to do anything heavy for 6 weeks. I can't lift anything over 10 pounds. And so this book signing is happening and I won't be able to lift anything but my books by themselves, like one at a time. So my husband's gonna have to carry all the boxes because I have tons of them. For the Kickstarter, I had to be careful and do one at a time. My mom had to help me pack them. So I'm still recovering from surgery. I can't sit upright for very long periods of time either, and this is going to be from 5 to 7. So I've sat here at written for 3 hours yesterday and today. So I think I'm good for the book signing, but I am still in pain, so it'll be interesting. Oh my gosh, that worked. So the quality is actually not as good. Like the glossy quality is so good. You can really see a difference on the back of these cards, but it's good enough. They can scan the QR code. I'm actually going to test this out with my main phone in live time because I use my old phone for vlogging. So let's turn the camera around. Look at that. And it goes to my website. And so all you have to do is click menu and I can guide people through there and go to store. And then when the store loads, boom, boom. Oh my gosh, that actually works really well. And since it sends them to my website, not my store, they may find all the other little things there too, or sign up for my newsletter. Like it can lead to a bunch of stuff. So that's why I didn't just lead to my books directly. But I do have a link to all of my social media websites on here. I link to my YouTube channel. I link to my, I use what's called Books to Read. So it grabs universal book links to your book. So like, for instance, it'll pull up a web page of Hunter and it will have every single retailer where Hunter is for sale in ebook form. You could do audiobook form and paperback form. So like all formats of Hunter are on that web page. So that's number one. And also, it also creates a landing page for for me. So it shows the Valiant series, the Republic Chronicles, the Calamity's Hope series. You click on the books, it shows all of the retailers for all of the books. So it's like a master web page for me for my books. So that's books2read.com/author Joanna White. So it's really simple. And then I did the same thing for my Linktree, which is what I use on my social media platforms to be like, hey, link is in here. So it's got everything, all of, like, it's literally, my Linktree has every single thing you could possibly need. So this is the first thing, and I will probably prop it up like this. And then if somebody comes up asking me about ebooks, I can flip it over and be like, here you go, scan the QR code, and then I'll explain the other stuff. So that first thing worked. Do a check mark. Yay, we did it. Also, I really like having a folder so I can keep everything together. So we're going to find a folder if I get some of these to work. But for now, I'm going to set that over there so it stays okay. So next up, I'm going to count how many of these we have. And I'm going to try, I don't know, we've got enough black ink. It still seems to be working. I don't want to jinx it, so we're going to start small and work bigger. So first of all, because I have had people vote on and pick their favorites of my illustrations, I've done like where pick your favorite bookmark, and like, so I know of the illustrations up to Survivors. I haven't shown Immortals to anybody yet, but where's I going with that? So I have the benefit of knowing which of my illustrations people like the most, and I'll pull them up and show you here. Where are we at? Where did I even, okay, I put them all in one single illustrations folder because I used to have them separated. So this is the first time I'm showing the illustrations for Immortal off. I wasn't going to reveal them until Immortal Special Edition hardback Kickstarter, which I was supposed to do in November. I've had surgery. I'm not doing that anymore. So you guys get an exclusive look at that. So these are the illustrations I've done for the whole series. As I said, the first ones are from Lucas, and these are all starting the ones from Moi Moi. So you can see a difference, but it's okay. So like I said, I have the benefits of knowing which ones are everybody's favorites. So of Hunters, the Avarella Jared Kiss is a favorite. Hunter's style was a little different, and so it's not quite as good as the style for Shifter, and especially Samurai. The Samurai style is very, very good. Now I've done Assassin. I have not done Rogue yet, so that's sad. That's the only one not represented here. Poor Rogue. I wish I had the money. So, but of Samurai, of Shifters, everyone loves the dragons. So this is a top favorite. I can see why. So that one for sure is one of the favorites of Shifter. And usually I don't really ever see a need to release, like sometimes I use the fire one because I like it, but generally speaking, I only ever use this one to represent Shifter. Samurai, I love all of them. Now, my preference is the boss fight. I also like this one because it features the Hunter characters, but in a better style than Hunter's does. So that's a thing. Usually these two are not used very often because they're very niche scenes. This is obviously the Empress being crowned, and this is like the opening between Shinji and Akari. So the first like opening sequence of an enemies to lovers. Usually it's kind of out of context, but a lot of people do like this one. So usually it's between those two for Samurai. Now Assassin, I haven't actually had people vote on, but honestly, Assassins are actually even better. I think the artist was probably getting better with each one that he did. On this one, these are Lucas's, because I actually really like all three of them. So they're really hard to choose from. I've had people that loved this one a whole lot and this one a whole lot. So I guess the fire one isn't used as much, although I like it. So it's between those two for Assassin. Now in Survivors, I love all of them. Okay. I use this one a lot. I don't use that one as much. I love all of the couple ones and then the Beast, although this is the original. And the reason why there's two is because this looks really good on a computer, but when you print it out, the bookmarks were so dark. So I actually got smart for the illustrations. I brightened it. And so that looks much better coming out on the cards. So that out of the Survivor ones, these two were surprisingly the ones voted by everybody as the favorites. I guess nobody else likes the other ones. I personally love those two. This one was an added illustration, so nobody voted on it, but it was like a bonus illustration as a surprise for everybody. It came out very dark, so if I were to print that one, I would brighten it. And I haven't showed Immortals to anybody, but of them, I think my two favorites are the Egypt scene. I mean, just look at that, you guys. And this one. So to everybody about the Immortal Illustrations. I have an Immortal Illustrations vlog where I am reacting to that. So now here's the thing. How many of these do I have? Because I have, that's interesting. Okay, 1, 2, I'm going to count these real quick. Okay, so I have 47 of the original 50, so it looks like I've only used 3 of this pack. So I have 47, so I think 40 is a good number, saving me 7 left over. So out of 40, the wise math would be to do 4 illustrations, 10 copies a piece. All right, so if that's the case, then we could do the dragons from Shifter. I'd have to pick one for Samurai, so cut that out, that's a spoiler. So I think from Samurais, I would do the boss fight from Samurai, specifically the one where the good guy is bloody. So that's 2. Of Assassin, let's see, we don't have any romance added, so I think I would do the Aiden and Sevlia on the balcony. That was a fan favorite, so that would be the 3rd one. And then the 4th one, I would have to choose between either Survivor or Immortal. I haven't actually shown Immortals to the world yet, so as much as I would love to represent Immortal here, I would probably choose Survivor, but I just did Survivor, so my brain is like, Immortal. Yeah, I'm like really into Immortal right now, so I think I'm going to do Immortal, so I'm going to pick the one from Immortal that I like the most. So that would be the 4. Now, I'm going to wait and do Immortal last in case we run out of ink. So I'm going to start with the dragons because that is a known fan favorite. And then we'll go from there. So we're going to do 10 copies of the dragon. So I'm going to grab 1, 2, we're going to grab 10. Now these I'm not giving away for free just because they are expensive, as the Kickstarter that was actually a special reward was to get them added on for reaching a certain goal. So I'm going to sell these for $5 a piece because my paperbacks are 20 and then my special edition hardbacks are all going to be 50. My omnibus is going to be 80 just because it is the first 5 books all put together, but with a discount. So instead of 100, it's 80. So you get 1 book for free essentially. So I'm going to count these and start getting the Shifter one printed off, and I'll check in with you guys later. Like we got 1 printed. I don't know if they're just naturally dark or if we're starting to lose some color here. So I'm just going to let those print and we'll go from there. In the meantime, in one of my little squares, I have a box, and this is where I've put all my previous stock. So I'm going to go over it so I can see what I have. I forgot from my Immortal Kickstarter, I still have some stickers of the chibi art of Nassan, so I can be like, this is from Immortal. So I'm going to sell these probably for $5 as well, just because I did hire an artist to buy them for $5, and then I had to order the stickers too. So we've got the chibi art of Nassan stickers that go with Immortal. So I've got those. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That might have been 8, so 8-ish. 9. Okay, and then it's just the ending. So it looks like I've got about 9 of these. So my bookmarks. So we've got several different types. So I've got illustration bookmark from Survivor. I'll probably sell bookmarks for $1. So I've got an abstract of Rogue. So these are the abstract bookmarks. So I've got the Rogue one, I've got 2 Rogue ones, I've got Immortal, I've got 3 from Immortal. I've got an illustration bookmark of Assassin. This was another popular one. I've got 2 abstracts of Hunter, I've got 2 of Shifter, I've got 1 of Samurai. That was a favorite because it's got the cherry blossoms on it. I've got 1, 2 for Immortal, and I've got 1 from Assassin. And then I've got more illustration bookmarks, so that's the dragons. It was another favorite. I've got several of those actually still. So some have the golden dragon in shot, and then some are of the red dragon. I think I've got 1 of those. So this is another one of the red ones. This is another one of the gold ones because I couldn't get both dragons in the same thing. So I've got 2 of the red dragon and like a whole bunch left of the gold dragon because those were the huge favorite, so I printed a whole bunch. So I've got lots of those, which is great. Also, my editor, A.T. Pruitt, said that she's going to do a mock setup. So that's another tip for you, is once you have all of your materials together and your books, go ahead and set everything up ahead of time so you know. So that's one of Hunter. And then it looks like I've got one of Samurai, the girl from Samurai, and then one of the girl from Assassin. So looks like I'll put Assassin together. And so all of the illustration bookmarks. Alright, we've still got colors. I'm not going to stop them yet. If it runs out of color and they're just printing mess ups, then I'm obviously going to stop them. I'm going to try to put these in order, actually, because that would be much easier for my sanity. So Hunter obviously goes first. We got Shifter first, so we're going to put the golden dragon on top of the bad red dragon. Oopsie. Okay. And then Samurai, and then, oh, this is another one of Shifters. And then I don't have any of Rogue, and then Assassin. Okay, so I got the illustration bookmarks in order. Okay, and then the abstract bookmarks, looks like we've got 2 for Hunter, 2 for Shifter, 1 for Samurai, 2 for Rogue, 1 for Assassin, and then 2 for Immortal and 3 for Immortal. So those are the abstract bookmarks. I'm going to put those on top because those are way cooler in my opinion. Just because my cousin did a great job designing those. So now we get to the previous printed illustrations. So I was so excited to have illustrations that I just went to Walmart and ordered these. This was before I had a printer or even knew about cardstock. Also, so far, so good. So I have 3 from this scene in Samurai. I don't know why anybody would want that, but I was so excited. I've got lots from Hunter, so these are a little darker, but they have kind of an interesting dark theme, and that fits Hunter. So I've got these, one, it looks like, of each of the major scenes from Hunter, including this one. I'm not going to bring this one because it's dark and messy, so that one stays here. But essentially, oh, I've got 3. So I've got 3 copies of the first scene. Looks like we've got more. These are like really, I forgot about all these. So I've got 3 of the second scene. Looks like 2 of the second scene. Make that 3. I'm going to say we're probably going to have 3 of each. So then I've got 3 of the next scene. Oh, we even have 3 of this scene. So we're going to put those away. Again, dark. Too dark. They're just not good quality, so they'll be mine forever, I guess. So it looks like we've got the Kissy Kissy. We've got 2 of those. And then we've got 3 of these. So most of these are from Hunter. This is from Samurai. I may go ahead and keep those and use those, so I'm going to leave this here. I don't know if I should bring these in this box. I like having them kept in the box. I can put my, on top of these here, and well, it's all going to go in a folder when I get this all. We're still going. I did 10 copies, I promise. I'm starting to get a little nervous, but I did 10. So so it looks like I've got all of these stacked and ready to go. I'm going to put this back, and then I'm going to dig in that. It's really hard for me to lean down there, so I may not dig for long, but I may have stragglers that like got out. So so far so good. Looks like we're working on one. So these I didn't do full page, but I like having it this way. So we're starting to get a little green. See this? I don't know if you guys can see that, but the red dragon's getting a little green. I still may bring that and just put that at the bottom, but we've got 8. So this was the 9th, and oof, 10th one is really grainy. So I don't know if I'm going to bring these. These may go. So I've got 8 of these I can add to, they'll be on top of the stock because they're a little bit better. I don't know if I should try to print one, the really good Samurai one. Yeah, let's do one copy of the Assassin one, since I have at least one scene from Samurai. It's not the good one because I've already sold those, but we'll do, I need to put one in here. So we'll do one from that one, just one copy, so we'll see how it comes out. In the meantime, I'm going to add these bad quality ones. You can see the green shine there. It's a little bit in this one, so it's not as bad, but this one's like really bad. So this is going in the we can't use these pile. I don't know if I should make the illustrations black and white and then print them in black and white and still sell them. I don't know how they would look, so I may try one. If this doesn't turn out well in quality, then I may make them black and white. At least I had some from Hunter for previous things, and I've got plenty of the, like, I've got some of the Nissan stickers and some bookmarks, so I have previous quality. What are we looking at here? So it's a little green and red. I don't know. See, it's just like got that little, I don't know if you'd notice if you didn't know. So that's going in the pile of one, so that's another wasted, but I had 7 extra, so. All right, let's try, oof, my ribs. I want to do the Immortal one so bad. So let's try Assassin again, but this time see if I can make it print in black and white. Ooh. I think it was still using the empty color. So it said it was empty, but the color as empty lasted because it did 15 of the final illustration that way. And it did 8 of the dragons before it started going bad. So, I mean, kudos to that. Which means the black and white one may last for a while too. In which case I may be able to do these other ones. They'll just be in black and white. Some people like black and white, so this may actually work out well. Hopefully it doesn't have a glare. Could be the lighting. Why does it have that, like, weird glow over it? I don't understand. I don't want to keep wasting these. Huh, that sucks. I'll have to stick with what I have, or just do black and white bookmarks. Okay, I've got another idea. I've got plenty of those. I've got 2 of each of these. I don't know if I should do the bookmarks. So it doesn't have Immortal on it. The bookmarks, I like the way I designed them, but they don't have Immortal on it, and they don't have Survivor. Let's see if I can find them and redesign the Valiant series bookmarks, and then I can see if I can print a whole bunch of those. I just feel like I don't have as many illustrations as I was hoping. I did get some of the dragons printed, which is the fan favorite. I don't know if anybody's gonna buy that for $5, but the whole point of this is to sell the books. So also, if you're curious why I'm not bringing anything else, my Calamity's Hope series ebooks is in the KU, so I cannot sell them anywhere else. And I don't have enough money to even order my own paperback copies of them, so I didn't have enough to order even my own, much less to sell. And then I am getting ready to rebrand the Republic Chronicles, so I didn't see why I would try to sell it as they are if I know for a fact that I'm planning to rebrand them. That didn't seem right or fair. So I'm going to work on that. I'll show you the design, and I will probably print it off and then show it to you and how it looks black and white, and then we will go from there. So I'll check with you guys in a bit. I have a decision to make. So I remade the bookmark. I like it, and I've got it ready to print in black and white, and it looks like it may look good in black and white, which would be fine. So here's my question. I realized, because I selected the bookmark itself, and it made it portrait on one of these cards in the preview, the print preview thing. And I realized usually I put them on Microsoft Word. I can print so many that way. So if this works, I could do it this way and make it slightly higher quality. My laminating is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It would be less work for me though. But then I would be wasting these cards not on full page illustrations. But they're just a couple of bucks at Walmart for a pack of 50. And I need more printer ink anyway before I can print more full page illustrations. So I'm thinking I could just do this. I would still have to trim them and cut them out, but then it's like I could potentially get more on a single page, but then the page is bigger, so it's using up more ink. I kind of want to test this just to see how it looks and then go from there. I'm also getting really tuckered out because I am still recovering from surgery, and I did already sit here and write earlier. So, yeah, we're gonna, at least I had 7 extras, so I've screwed up 2, 3, this will be the 4th. So I have 3 more after this that I can spare for testing things. At least these may print really fast since they're pretty simple. I'm starting to hurt really bad. I may have to stop and just go with what I've got. Oh no! Why is it still doing that? Stupid green thing. Can anybody tell me why this is happening? Because I have black and white selected, so I'm quitting and giving up for the night. I'm just going to go with what I've got. I don't have a way to get more printer ink anyway, so I'm just going to go with what I've got. I don't really have much of a choice. Obviously, if you have plenty of money, you have plenty of options, but yeah, so for now that's it. I may do a mock setup with what I've got, but for now this is all I've got, so I will check in with you guys next time, and I hope that my tips have helped you so far. Hey guys, so this is another video for my book signing. I realized I never did kind of give you my closing thoughts. I got distracted. I ran out of printer ink, so I may be able to get some more tomorrow, and I may get to print some more. If not, I'm good with what I have. So basically that's kind of the process of what to prep. Obviously the first thing is what book you're bringing, and if it's a standalone, if it's part of a series, and if it is a part of a series, if the series is chronological or if it's standalone. And then if you'd like to bring any extras, extras could include character art, illustrations, stickers of character art and or illustrations, or of your author signature. Obviously you need to pack some pins and extras. You could offer some bookmarks for free. I'm charging $1 for mine. I also have illustrations. I don't have very many, and also potentially prepping for ebooks, and or if you run out of physical copies. The 2 ways that I suggested doing that is Canva has an automatic QR code generator. That's how I did it. So you can do that. You could also take payments via PayPal and Venmo, and either have people sign up with an email and then email them the book later, or put your books in the files on your Google Drive or OneDrive or whatever the other one is, Dropbox, and be able to email that to people using your phone. You could potentially bring a computer if you're more comfortable doing that. Obviously getting prepared, talking to the bookstore first, making sure you bring your own books, figuring out where you're going to order them from, ordering them in plenty of time to avoid having them come in late or having to pay extra for shipping like I did. Getting your table, making sure that if the bookstore is not going to provide a table for you, making sure you can bring one. If they can provide one for you, asking ahead of time what size it is, making sure you're going to have enough room, potentially doing a fake setup at your house with something similar so that you kind of have a general idea of how you want to set things up. I haven't done that yet, but I need to. And then just having fun with it and not being nervous. You could also try to prepare for things that you want to say. I would suggest having like a log line and also comparatives that you can compare to your book that are easily recognizable. So that way you can just instantly, if they're like, well, what's your book about? You don't have to fumble and panic. You can just be like, oh, it's really similar to this. In the case of like my good author friend and editor who's doing the book signing with me, H.A. Pruitt, hers is a YA portal fantasy series similar to the Chronicles of Narnia. So I've got this, I can explain that. And in my case of the Valiant series, it's a little bit more complex, but I know what the comparatives are for each book. And the whole series is epic fantasy, like Lord of the Rings meets Star Wars, with a structure like Marvel, in the sense that all of the earlier books are standalone backstories of the heroes until they all come together to battle darkness in the last few books. It's just not superheroes or sci-fi like Marvel is. It's epic fantasy, with the heart of Lord of the Rings and, stuff like that. So I've kind of got a general sense of what I can say. And if they ask me about a specific book, I have like Survivor, the TV show, but deadly meets the Hunger Games. Hunter is similar to the Hunger Games meets Mulan. Shifter is dragons and dragon shapeshifters. It's a clean, sweet kind of romance type thing. So I've got it all in my head. come up with like log lines, and also make sure that you have access to the blurbs on your phone in case, or like with your thumb. Basically just figure out what you need to say. If you're the kind of person you need to prepare, if you can do that ahead of time. If you're not and you can just improvise, then that's obviously fine too. I'm gonna improvise as long as I kind of know the general gist of things. There's still probably going to be awkward encounters because I'm an awkward social person. I'm not yeah, I'm very socially awkward. That's the word I was looking for. So those are the main things to remember if you're prepping for a book signing. Main thing is just to have fun and not stress yourself out over it, especially if you're a not sociable person. Just have fun with it, relax, be yourself, be open, and just be friendly with people and have natural conversations, and not just be like, buy my book, you know, and like, I don't know, I'm not the kind of person to like be like, as they walk by, to bother them, but that could be kind of backfiring on me, because then I'm not going to stop anybody intentionally unless they stop to look. And if they stop to look, I may not say anything initially, and then that would mean that they just walk on. So there's still a few things I have to refine on the social aspects, but the main thing is just to have fun and like enjoy the experience. This is for my book signing. So today I actually sent off all the Kickstarter stuff. I still wasn't able to buy printer ink, but I actually figured out how to print it without this. So essentially what was happening is it was still trying to print in color, even though I changed the setting in the print menu option to grayscale. What you have to do is go into your settings and change the default setting to print only using the black ink cartridge, because it still tries to pull from the color one. That's why my black ink hasn't gone down. And so I did this, another test run, so that ruined another one, but I did this one and it came out perfectly, and it still looks really good for black and white. So I was able to print, I decided to do 5 of each so I can do more, but after I did these, I decided I'm going to do the bookmarks, and to save on ink, I'm going to print them all on a Word document and just print multiple copies of it so I can cut them out. I can get like 6 on a page of my main Valiant series bookmark. I redesigned it in Canva so that it does include Immortal and Survivor. So yeah, so I'm going to add those to a Microsoft document, squeeze as many as I can on there, and then go from there. So what I do is I set the margins to as small as possible, like literally decimal point 1. And then I insert it as a picture, and then I just size them according to what seems like it's bookmark size. I think it actually pops in with the correct size. So yeah, I'm going to print the bookmarks next. I was able to do like 16 by doing 4 at the top and then 4 at the bottom of the other ones. So all it took was 2 pages of 4 and 4 to get to 16, because obviously 4 times 4. So I could do that and have plenty of those to give out, is kind of what I'm thinking. So official front. So here's what it looks so that's kind of what it looks like. And so like I said, you go to layout, margins, and I already have this setting in here somewhere. Yeah, 0.3 is the smallest you can do. And then what you do is you go to the formatting and you do square so that you can move it around freely, and I just literally do as far as I can, and then you copy, and then you can just paste it in there. You still have to make it square, or maybe the pasting actually worked. And so I just give myself kind of a thin, and then we're just going to keep pasting, keep moving, and then keep pasting. So I have 4 here at the top, and I'm wondering if we can get, hold on a minute. So we're going to do another pasted, and this time we're going to see if that's square. Yeah, so then we can take this, turn it around like so, because we want to get as many on this page as possible. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna get 6 per page on those. I think I made the other ones a little smaller, so these are gonna be a little bigger. Oh no, this isn't the right one. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna have to go in Canva and then yeah, okay, so we're gonna have to do that first. I don't know why it didn't save properly. So that's annoying, but we will go in Canva, and then here it is. This is it. So see, it's got Survivor and Immortal added to it. So, and I'm gonna download it. Current page. And then, are these in Ping? Yeah, I don't know how to tell. So we're gonna download. Don't know why that didn't work. That's very weird. See? So official front. Yes, I want to replace it. Okay, that one worked. So now we just gotta go in the Word document and change picture from this device. And then we just gotta tediously do that. I will check in with you guys when I have that done and get it printing. So that way I can have 6 bookmarks per page. So if I do like 4, that'd be 20. You know, it's really, really easy to just do that. And then all I have to do is laminate them and cut them out and then put them all together. So, and then I will get back to doing illustrations. I may change my mind and actually do some from Survivor, and Immortal, because I really want Moi Moi to have some of his illustrations here. So I'll just have to choose which ones, because I was with the Survivor ones, I wanted to pick the ones that I want, but my brain is like, everybody in the Kickstarter liked these more, so my brain is kind of debating on that. But anyways, I gotta get this done. I will check in with you guys in a bit. So I canceled the printing after I did 1 page, just because I don't know if you can see the covers very well against the dark background. So I don't know, like, you can't see each individual cover very well, even though they look good. So, and I don't want to waste ink or paper. I've already screwed that up because I canceled it and it was still printing. So I'm going to try to actually edit these a little bit more. I still want to get to my writing tonight, but when I decided to do this, I'm actually into doing this. So, and it's only 7:30. So, and I could go ahead and finish the illustrations first. So I was like, if I get the bookmarks done and out of the way, then I can just do all the illustrations I have more cards and ink for, and still be confident that I do have bookmarks to give people. I just need to make sure that I edit them so that they look good. So I'm going to work in Canva for a while and see what I can get done here. So, I will check in with you guys later. Okay, so I've been through several iterations. So the first one, obviously this one's too dark. I don't want to get them mixed up here. So then I actually figured out that Microsoft Word lets you make corrections and brighten the image. So I tried that, and they're better, but they're still not high quality. Even after they get laminated, you can't read the individual things very well. So then I went ahead and went in Canva, and I highlighted each individual cover, made them black and white, replaced the image in Microsoft Word, and then I went ahead and brightened the whole thing in Microsoft Word. And these, you can tell, are a lot crisper. And so I think once I get them laminated and cut out, they're going to be decent bookmarks. So I went ahead and I'm doing 4 copies, so it makes 5 copies of this total. They just look so much more crisp, even on camera. So, I can't get clips while I'm laminating, because I already tried that and it didn't work very well. So I'm going to get those laminated, and then I'm going to get back to printing more of the illustrations. So I will check in with you guys when I get all this done. Guys, so I got all of the bookmarks laminated. I did 5 copies total. I have them laying on my desk because I don't feel like printing them out tonight. I will do that tomorrow or maybe later tonight. I want to write first. So I decided I want at least something from each one. I have plenty from Hunter, just from the old ones. Obviously, the dragons are from Shifter. This is from Assassin, which is book 4. So I went ahead and did the boss fight of Samurai. So then I switched to Survivor. So this came out pretty well for the darker one. That one was the one everybody loved from Survivor. I don't have any from Rogue. I forgot, and I only did 1 copy, so now I gotta do this again. So that was 1 copy, so now I need 4 more. So, because I don't have any from Rogue, so the next one after Assassin, book 4, since we're skipping book 5, would be book 6. And then, no, 4. We want to do 4 copies of this. And then I'm decided I'm going to do some from Immortal, and then after I finish these and I finish Immortal, I still have some ink left and I still have some cards left. I'm going to do the ones that I want until I run out of everything. Essentially, I'm going to run this baby dry. So I was also going to talk to I reached out to H.A. Pruitt, the one who's doing the book signing with me, my author friend and editor, and I thought that she was going to do hers as a bunch of freebies, so I am going to, I'm not sure. I kind of want to charge $5 for these. Oh no, we're out. That's it. I didn't get any from Immortal, but that's okay. I got more than I thought I would, so that's good for me. Yeah, we ran out of black and white ink, unfortunately. All those bookmarks, I feel like I wasted some. I didn't get any from Immortal. That's okay. I have most of them represented, so that's good enough for me. I just wish I had more from Immortal. Oh, that's so sad. That is really sad. Oh, wasted 2 more. But I have more than I ever thought I would with the black and white thing, so that's fine. So I'm happy with that. I really am. And I did get all the favorites in there, so that's the important bit too. So I guess that's it. Okay, so this is another insert into my book blog, my book signing vlog. So a couple more tips that I forgot is, 1, you gotta figure out what you're gonna wear. And my editor and good author friend who's doing the book signing with me discussed that, and so we're just going to kind of match, but you can, you know, do more of like a Renaissance style thing if you write fantasy, where you dress up in like a fantasy outfit or like one of your characters. You could do something formal, like some formal wear, because it's like a big deal, especially if it's your first book signing. So I'm leaning more toward like a dress kind of thing. You could dress to fit the season, like in this case we're in fall, so you could do like you know, spring type clothes or summer type clothes or fall or winter type clothes, depending on when you're, Echo, get out of there. My dog's being bad. Hold on. So it's kind of up to you and what you're comfortable in. I like to be comfortable, and I'm still kind of recovering from a surgery. So right now I can't wear pants. I can, but like they hurt because they're right there at my waistline. So I'm more comfortable in dresses. And since I'm going to be out for a while tomorrow, like all day, I want to be comfortable. And so I'm going to wear a dress, which is what I would probably wear anyway. Also, I'm finally opening up the books. So I did cut out the bookmarks today. They are not even. So in the future, I really want to invest in like one of those, like where it's like a ruler or a grid, and then you put the page down and then you bring the thingy down and it cuts it for you, because that would be more ideal. So I did open up the books just now. Look at this. So I'm just why would you pack a book like this? Like, look at this curvature. Like, look at what they've done to this book. What the heck? It's an S shape. Like, I'm going to put that back in there and get a picture of how they had that. That is absolutely insane. I don't know what I'm going to do to straighten it out. So I'm going to get all of the books out, hopefully fix any damage. I may have to trade that out with my copy and see if my personal copy is good. Yeah, the amount of times that I've had to trade my personal copies with fresh copies that I've just bought from Amazon just because they have soppily packed them, is insane. Like the last Kickstarter this year was fine. I didn't have to trade any out, but the one before that last year for Immortals, I had to trade out so many different copies. So all of the, not all of them, but like Assassins and I think Shifters, like the spine and the front's really worn just because they gave me really bad copies. But so I'm gonna have to fix this, and then I'm gonna do a mock setup and practice. I didn't do this for my last 2, but my last 2 I was trad published and they set it all up for me because they had the books. So this time I'm bringing my own books. It's my first time bringing my own books, so that means I'm gonna have to know what I'm doing, and I don't want to like fumble around. So I'm just gonna kind of do a mock setup, and it gives me a chance to like make sure all of these are good, maybe take some Instagram photos and go from there. So I will check them to you guys in a. So I took pictures of it, traded it out with mine. My copy is really clean and pristine and in good shape. I'm gonna get the rest of these poor books out of here and rescue them from their horrible packing condition, because Amazon doesn't care about indie authors. We've encountered 2 more misprints, so check this out. So this is Hunter. I don't know what this dark spot is, but look at this wear and tear. I'm not kidding. This is literally the one fresh out of the box, not the one from my Kickstarters. Like, so this is straight out of the box. So, like, I don't even, and then Samurai's is worse. Like, look at that. Like, that wear and tear is just absolutely abysmal. Like, look at that. So I'm gonna switch these out. I switched out my copy of Rogue. So I'm currently taking the curved one I'm hurting. I'm currently, I put the curved one on top of a hardback, and I put 2 more hardbacks on top of it to hopefully get it straight so that my copies aren't complete crap. And then, so now I'm going to go check out my copy of Samurai and Hunter. And that would officially mean that my entire series, my personal copies, are now the crap copies from Amazon because of the way they ship. But I'm looking at the others and I think everything else is fine, fortunately. So yeah, so I think everything else is fine. So I'm going to do that. I took pictures of all of this because I'm going to post it. But yeah, this is why you got to go through all your books. So Amazon, do better. Too many books. This is not going to work. I don't know if their table is bigger. They have one at the store, and then my friend H.A. Pruitt, her husband's bringing 2 different tables. So hopefully the table for me is bigger than this, because this is not going to work. So my original plan was to do each stack individually of all of the first 6 books and then put them in front. So like Hunters would be in front of Hunters. I had to put Shifter with Hunter because I don't have enough room. Samurai's by itself, and then I put Assassin and Rogue together, so I'll have to fish out the Rogue ones underneath Assassin. And then Survivor book 6, so I've got the regular paperbacks, I've got the 2 special edition paperbacks, and then I've got the 2 hardbacks. So I'm thinking about putting the 2 hardbacks in between them, or maybe I'll showcase the hardback in front. And then Immortal and Mortal are together, but ideally they would have their own stack. So ideally all of these would have their own stacks, and then the Immortal hardbacks, which again I may showcase one of those instead. So hopefully if there's enough room, each one can get their own stack. I'll put a sample up in front of each stack. Same with the omnibuses and the omnibus paperbacks and hardbacks. But this is it. On top of the fact that I have bookmarks and stuff, which I don't know where they're going to go. So hopefully we'll get this figured out. I'm hurting. I don't want to overdo myself tonight because of tomorrow. So I'm going to put all these back in the box, but I'm going to put them in order. And yeah, so that way they're all organized, at least in the box. So, I'm going to do that and then take the rest of the night off because I can't, if I push myself too hard tonight, it'll be rougher tomorrow. So I will check in with you guys later. Guys, so this is another video in my book signing vlog. I wanted to update you guys on how well it went last night. I couldn't vlog yesterday. We were so busy. So we went to my author friend and editor H.A. Pruitt, her house first, and then we followed them to the bookstore. It was kind of a tiny bookstore, like in size, but they have tons of books there, a lot of romantasy and romance, dark romance, romantasy, and contemporary romance. I've noticed more romantasy than anything else, and the owners of it was really nice. They set us up. Echo. They, the store, the way it was set up was Heather had to be on one side, I had to be on the other, so we weren't next to each other like we thought. So another tip is to kind of go in, be expecting everything. If you've seen the store, you can kind of imagine where you are. You may talk to the people beforehand. If not, just know that you're going in kind of blind like I was to kind of expect anything, because that kind of like shook Heather and I, because we were expecting to be next to each other to support each other. So it was kind of freaky. And so she had to get set up by herself. I got set up by herself. Here are the pictures of our setups. Mine was a little chaotic. I noticed that she had these book stands for a few of her books, and it worked and it looked more professional. So in the future, I'm going to invest in those. I had a lot of books, so that was my primary thing, is making sure they were all visual, still giving me a chance to actually sign the books. As for payments, what we did was both of us were going to take cash. Now she was able to have a nod, like her husband actually had a lot of cash on him, so he was able to exchange that, I think once or twice, when people needed it. So that's something to consider too. I only had a change pouch, so I wasn't able to, but none of the customers that I had use cash or change. What worked for me was I had PayPal and Venmo, so I had 2 via Venmo and 1 via PayPal, so that worked. PayPal does take out a fee, so on Venmo I was able to get the entire amount that they paid me. On PayPal it was like some cents less, and then to transfer that to my bank took even more, and then to transfer it from Venmo to my bank took some cents too, so it was a little less than the total, but the total was $60. I had 3 customers And 3 doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm selling them for $20 a piece, so that's $60, which for me is a lot. So I'm trying to be realistic with you, because I'm not like sitting here doing this to like scam you guys into this some sort of course that's going to change your life and make you a millionaire, or like thousands upon $1,000. That's not what this is. This is real, this is raw, this is honest, and that's what I always try to be here on this channel for you guys. So these are my tips, this is my experience. I got 3 customers and I had $60, and I really appreciated the bookstore and their customers, because a lot of them came in to support the book signing that was going on and kind of just support us in general. So that was nice. I got to meet new people. They were very chatty and like having things in common with the people. Another tip that I would suggest if you're not a sociable person is like talking not just about your books, but like we were having conversations about like board games with one customer and like other types of books. One of the customers was interested in a series that I've seen before, and so I asked her questions about it. So that was kind of conversational. So it's just being friendly with people. A lot of them, I know Heather did PayPal and Cash App, and I think she had sales with both. I did PayPal and Venmo, and I had sales with both. And a lot of times, like I had one particular customer that hadn't downloaded the PayPal app in a long time, but they went through the effort of downloading it right there. And so you just kind of, you know, be friendly, smile, and politely wait. And then the payment can go through and it's instantaneous. So I didn't have anybody that needed the ebooks, but I did have that available. And also this business card that I made, 2 out of the 3 customers, which is whatever percentage you want to do, actually wanted to take it. So next time I know to actually make more of these front and back ones so they can take it, because several of them were interested, and one of them was like, what if I love your series, where can I find you? And they wanted to be able to find me. The other one was interested in my social handles so we can follow each other on social media, so that she took a picture of it with her phone, and actually did tag me later. She actually got a picture. So that was the other experience I had, was my first fan book reader that wanted a picture with me, wanted a picture with Heather, took 2 different pictures, and then tagged us on social media later, which actually is on there today on my Instagram. So next time I know to make more of these. So I would suggest that as another tip for you guys, to print these off, so that way something with your name, logo, branding, social handles, website, link to your books, anything that you think needs to go on there. I ended up changing my mind, and I gave away the bookmarks for free. So when they made a purchase, I was like, you can pick whatever bookmark you want to go with it, and they were able to. I had all 3 picked very different kinds of bookmarks for their books for different reasons. So that was nice. I didn't sell any of the art or the stickers, but that's okay. And so that's just my experience. It was a lot of fun, and I ended up, like, my cousin showed up, my sister was there, and then me and Heather. So in the downtimes, like, what I did was I would watch and see if there were any customers coming to the door and in the store, and if there weren't, I would go over to talk to Heather. She would come over to talk to me. We would talk to my cousin. We had a lot of fun conversating. If anybody walked in, even if they did not come to my table, I sat down because I wanted to be present. Like, if you're up walking around, I was like, I didn't want to deter anybody from sitting at my table, from coming up to my table, because I wasn't there. So I was always sitting down in my seat when there was a customer there. Now, because of my surgery, I had to stand up sometimes because I was hurting too bad. Like, I was at the edge of my seat scrunching the wound. I had worked a lot, kind of overdid it these last several days, like building up to that. So that's been my experience. I did have one customer that came up to the table, asked me about it, and then ended up kind of, after we had the conversation, kind of walked away. So you'll have some people like that too, that come over, are like, want to know or want to be polite and aren't interested in your books. And so the key for you is just not to feel awkward if they walk away. I know you're probably going to be slightly disappointed. Obviously I was too, but you just be polite. Don't make it awkward for the other person, because I know if I was in that position coming up to an author, I would feel either obligated to buy their book or awkward about walking away, because as an author, I know what that feels like. And so I try to make it as comfortable for the customer as possible. So that's another thing. Second tip, if you don't know what to say, because I know we authors are bad at describing our own books, and so Heather and I were intending on being together so that I could back her up and she could back me up if we fumbled for what to say. And then when she first had her customer, they went up to her, and I was able to kind of be like, it's a good book, I've read it, and kind of throw that across the aisle, because we were separated, but it wasn't like, because it's a small store, so it wasn't like we were vastly separated, right? And so, but after that initial, she's a lot more like, I'm still shy and very antisocial and introverted. She's even more than me. So I know that she was very anxious and like struggling. She can probably comment on this video with her experience too, or probably even do a video on her own. But I think she had told me that after the first customer kind of got easier. So for those of you who are really shy, and that's true for me as well. Once I got the first customer and I figured out how I was going to describe my books and my series, it got easier. And like for me, I'm a very repetitive person. So when I can repeat things, it makes it so much easier for me to get my script in. I've even done that with like back in the day. I'm old enough that we used to have to call our friends their house phones. And so you'd have to talk to their family members. And that's really like anxiety. Like I don't like talking on the phone even today. So back then it was really like, it would give you a lot of anxiety, and I would have my like thing that I would say when I would ask for my friend, regardless of who had answered the phone on her end. And so I've been that way my whole life to get over my social anxiety, is just to say a certain thing, you know, for either speeches, public speaking, that sort of thing. I'm not that kind of person. So once I had the first customer, I figured out what to say. And in my case, it was easier to explain that it has because I was like, I don't know what book to start talking about. Mine is a series of interconnected standalones, which is a term that one of the other customers gave me. And I was like, that's good. I need to remember that. And you can jump in at any time as for the books that I had at the, book signing. And so I would describe it like Marvel, with the structure of Marvel where all the superheroes have their own backstories and come together at the end, but it's not superheroes and it's not sci-fi, it's epic fantasy. And you can jump in at any time, and each of them have different subgenres of fantasy, so you can kind of jump in on whatever you're interested in. And I would recommend, like, because some of them would ask like, what book order do you recommend? And I was like, I publish them in the order I recommend, so you can start with Hunter. There's also the prequel Immortal, and I would talk about that. My cousin would chime in like, that's my favorite. So that was kind of like having your hype people with you. Heather's case, she was like, it's very similar to Chronicles of Narnia. It's a YA portal fantasy, and they get taken into another fantasy world, and they get to go on a big adventure. So that was kind of her spiel. So have your spiel, figure out where people start if it's a series, or how to describe things. And once you have that in your head, it's easier to repeat it with each customer, because people are going to come over and ask you over and over, so you'll have to say it a lot. So just say something that like explains it the easiest, the simplest way to people. And just be friendly. And like I said, if you can find other things to chat about too, like one of them, we actually got to talking after she purchased my book, and we had a nice conversation and everything, because she had brought in a dog, and I have dogs. So that was like a very long conversation. So anything that you can kind of, bridge that gap and kind of make things a little bit more comfortable, and be accommodating as well. So those are my tips and advice throughout this whole video on how to set up a book signing, what to do, how to prepare for it, and then the experience of the actual book signing and the realistic expectations from it for indie authors in smallish towns. The two that I was a part of before, I was trad published, but it was a very small bookstore with not a lot of foot traffic. And so I only sold, I think maybe two my first time, and I don't know if I sold any my second time, and the two or the few that I had the first time with all of my family, because it was my first book, my first time being published, so a lot of them just came and bought it. So this time I had 3 brand new customers, but 3 doesn't sound like a lot, but I sold them for $20 a piece, and so that's $60 for me. And that's the most I've earned at once for my books. For reference, when I was traditionally published, for the first year of being published with a traditional publisher, my first check that came in the mail was $60, and that was with ebooks. So that gives you a comparison. Like last night's event earned me what I have used to earn in a year in one night. And so that kind of puts it in perspective for you, and for me too, actually. Just realistic expectations. So it's like your location and how big or how small it is, how many readers are there, and how many people are actually visiting the bookstores or the place that you're going to. In this case, last night's, the town is about, I think, 15,000 people. So it's quite a bit bigger than the town I live in, even though the town at where I live, Lake of the Ozarks, has a big surface area, but there's only 4,000 population. So it's not that big. So they got a lot of foot traffic, and the owner said normally the first Friday of every month they have a lot of people coming in, but there was a big football game, and small towns like this, they're big on football, and so most people were there at the football game. But we did get quite a bit of foot traffic, and even people who didn't stop at our tables that still came into the store. So it was a lot bigger than what I'm used to, and still smaller than what a big time, like a Barnes and Noble or something in some big town would get. So that's another thing to be aware of, is just where you are how many people stop in the bookstore, how big is it, how popular it is. Like, it was a small bookstore, but they seemed like they had a lot of fans and support and people and customers who kind of come in a lot and are repeat customers who help support them and whatever the bookstore is doing. And so that kind of like branched into like supporting us as well. So that's been my experience. I hope my tips and tricks and advice here can help you. And each time that you do this, you get kind of better and better and more experienced. This time I feel like I was a lot more prepared than my first two. And a lot of things that Heather did actually helped me, because she has this really organized type A kind of personality that like thought of things that I did. Like, I wouldn't have thought to bring extra pins if it hadn't been for her. Because I forgot the pins. Like, that's kind of one of the most important parts. So we kind of helped each other, and it was just a wonderful experience, and I'm really excited, and I hope that this has helped you guys. So if you liked this video, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more writing and reading videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you liked my tips and tricks about doing a book signing, then check out some of the other writing advice videos that I've done. I always try to give you guys the best advice to help you write and live your publishing dreams and let your author dreams, be able to live out your author dreams, because that's kind of where I'm at, and I want to share everything that I learn with you guys, so check it out. You don't want to miss it.